Let me ask you something. Are you afraid of the dark? You know, the unknown dangers that might be lurking just outside? And what about that other kind of darkness? The whispers of doubt and anxiety that can echo inside your own head.
Well, what if I told you there's a powerful concept from the Quranic tradition that acts as a kind of spiritual armor? We're going to dive into how two specific chapters, Surah Al-Falaq and Surah An-Nas, are way more than just prayers. They're actually a blueprint for building deep, real resilience against both those outer and inner fears.
Okay, so our sources introduce this really cool idea, the Quranic Person, or Homo Quranicus. Let's just think of this as the hero of our story, someone who sees and navigates the world through the lens of the Quran. And those two chapters we're talking about? Yep, they are this person's shield and armor.
So what's this person, this guardian of their own spirit, really like? What makes him tick? Our sources actually give us a fascinating profile built on 4 key pillars. Let's break them down.
First up, this person is a servant. And look, this isn't about weakness. It's about being incredibly self-aware. The Quran person knows they're not a superhero. They're not pretending to be invincible. They get that they're vulnerable to things both seen and unseen, and they acknowledge, hey, I need protection that's bigger than me.
Second, they're a refugee, but not in the way you might be thinking. When fear or danger pops up, their first instinct isn't to run to money or status or even other people. Nope. They know the right address. Their gut reaction is to turn directly to the ultimate source of safety, to God, their one and only true safe harbor.
The third trait, they're a realist. This person isn't living with their head in the clouds. They are totally aware that the world has negativity. You know, envy, people trying to stir up trouble, folks doing shady things. But instead of letting that paralyze them with fear, they find this incredible courage by anchoring themselves to a power that is infinitely greater than all of that.
And finally, they are a guard. And this is absolutely crucial. They understand that sometimes the most dangerous attacks don't come from the outside world, but from inside their own heart and mind. So they stand watch, like a vigilant guard, always awake to those sneaky whispers of doubt, despair, and temptation that are trying to get in.
Now, what's so cool about this spiritual armor is that it comes in 2 distinct parts. Think of it like having 2 different shields for 2 totally different kinds of battle. Surah Al-Falaq, that's your shield for all the external threats, the darkness, the negativity, the envy coming at you from the world. And then there's Surah An-Nas, that's your shield for the internal threats, those sneaky whispers and self-doubts that attack from the inside.
So let's start with that first shield, Al-Falaq. This is all about guarding the outer walls of your being, protecting yourself from the stuff the world throws at you.
You know, the very first line of this chapter just radiates hope. It starts by seeking refuge in the Lord of the Dawn. And what our source explains so beautifully is that this is a powerful reminder. No matter how deep the darkness you're in, whether it's literal nighttime or the darkness of your problems, a dawn is promised. A morning is always on its way.
So, what are the big lessons from this shield? First, it teaches us that evil isn't some chaotic rogue force. It's a created thing, which means it's ultimately under the Creator's control. We're also warned to watch out for specific things, like the negative energy from people who blow on knots. That's a powerful metaphor for those who try to create chaos and tie up your life in knots. And finally, it's a reminder to be wise with your happiness, because envy, it's a real and it's a destructive force.
All right, so we've got the outer walls secured. Now it's time to go inside. It's time to secure the inner citadel of your heart and mind with that second shield, An-Nas.
And boom, right there, the whole focus shifts. Surah An-Nas basically tells us, the real war zone, the most critical battlefield, it's your own chest. It's the fight for what's going on in your thoughts, your feelings, and your intentions.
So how does this internal enemy even work? Well, the sources give us 3 key bits of intel. First, it's described as El-Khanas, the one who whispers, then backs off when you remember God, only to sneak back in and attack again the second you're distracted. It's sneaky and persistent. Second, it loves a vacuum. If a heart isn't filled with positive remembrance, these whispers will just move right in and take over. And third, these whispers can come from unseen forces or, and this is a big one, sometimes from a friend standing right beside you.
So, what's the ultimate defense? The game changer? It's remembering who you belong to. This chapter reminds you, hey, you are not ownerless. You have a Rabb, a nourisher who takes care of you, a Malik, a king, a sovereign with ultimate power, and an Ilah, a deity who is the only one who deserves your devotion. Turning to these three realities about God is the ultimate fortress against any internal whisper. So when you put these two shields together, when you learn to use them both, something amazing happens. You stop living in a state of passive fear, and you move to a stance of active, prepared resilience.
And this right here is the new motto for the Quran person. Their mindset completely shifts to, I'm not fearful, I am prepared. And why? Because they have this deep, unshakable belief that anyone who truly seeks refuge in this ultimate protector will never, ever be left out in the cold, totally exposed. It's a complete shift from anxiety to absolute trust.
And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. The next time that external darkness starts to fall, or when your own mind gets clouded with those whispers of doubt, the whole lesson of this spiritual armor comes down to one single vital question. Where are you going to run?